Good morning, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Happy 4th of July for those in the United States celebrating. It's a day of independence, a day where we celebrate the independence that America gained, allowing it to be its own country with its own decisions, its own governance, its own democracy. And it is interesting because I'm spending this 4th of July in England. I'm actually attending the National Prayer Breakfast that they have at Parliament. It's kind of cool, I got to tell you. Shout out to the folks that invited me to sit at their table. But I was in England over the weekend, and I was reading the newspaper. I had the Saturday Times, and in the Saturday Times, there was a very interesting article on America. And I've saved the paper. Angry, divided, and mistrustful. Is this how America ends? And the article cites a lot of economic pain in America right now. Cites a lot of social strife in America right now. The fights and the strife that are on Roe versus Wade. It's got pictures, the fights over gun control and their references to Uvalde and the massive gun violence that's in the United States. Of course, you've got perhaps stagflation, which is a stagnant economy along with inflation. You've got lots of issues with medical care. You've got issues that seem to be dividing families. You've still got racial issues raging in America. And you've got the idea that democracy is not safe. Some people in America believe the last election was stolen, and so democracy is no longer a viable institution. And it's got this writer in England, Gerard Baker, questioning, is this how America ends? He goes into detail on the hearings right now about January 6th and just the great divisiveness. And it quotes and remembers a statement of Benjamin Franklin about this great experiment called American democracy and asks whether or not the United States would wind up being a kingship ultimately, or would wind up being a republic, or what it would be, and Benjamin Franklin's comment was that we could be a democracy as we are now, quote, if you can keep it, close quote. And then that's the big issue, is can we keep it, or will all of this turmoil cause people to seek a different government? The red and blue states right now in America seem to be so divided that some of them want to peel off and be their own. So in the midst of that, how do I look at it as a Christian and a believer? Of course, God is God of the world. He's not God of the United States of America. God cares for the people of the world, not simply the people of the United States of America. But within the framework of that, God does care how we live responsibly, how we interact, how we govern ourselves. God is a God of justice and has no qualms explaining that in Scripture. But the passage that comes to my mind is from Psalm 11, one of my favorite Psalms, that starts out with, "In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, flee like a bird to your mountain, because the wicked have bent their bow, they're coming at you, run for your lives to the hills," in essence. And it's got the question being asked, when the foundations are being destroyed, what can the righteous do? That's an interesting question. Now, I'm not saying the foundations of America are being destroyed, but I'm saying if that's where we were, if the foundations were being destroyed, what can the righteous do? And the answer is in the Psalm. The answer is this: the Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes see, his eyelids test the children of men. He tests the righteous, but he hates the soul of the wicked. And so the response of me at this point in time as a believer in God is that God seeks his people to be righteous, kind, loving, and honest and truthful and all that's wrapped up in that. And God is in his throne. And the righteous don't need to flee this world and don't need to flee out of fear. The righteous just need to recognize where God is and who God is and that he's involved and he's watching. And our goal is to live our lives in good, righteous manners and trust God with the consequences. I think that's pretty good, not just for the 4th of July. I think that's pretty good for every day. So today, I want to seek to be right before God. I want to seek to do right before God. And I'm going to trust him with my 4th of July and my 4th of every day. And I hope you'll do the same. It's your video thought for the day.